Alright people, y'all seen the title. Let's get into it. Why hasn't third party made any manga characters yet? Now, I did a video similar to this a while back, basically titled Why Hasn't Tamashii Done Manga Characters Yet? And I feel like that one was a bit more straightforward and to a certain extent more obvious. But with third party, I feel like it's actually a lot more strange. Now, to be fair, Kong Studios has, as you can see on the screen, challenged, or not even challenged, they have attempted to make an Ultra Ego Vegeta. Not even really an attempt, they did. But it was on a 2.0 mold and it already looks sort of dated. I think the faceplates on it were pretty good, especially the creepy grinning face that they have on one of them. But besides this is the only manga exclusive, Dragon Ball Super manga exclusive thing that was tackled by third party, and we haven't heard anything from them since in regards to manga characters being made. Now, I'm gonna go through some pictures of, some manga characters, so be wary of spoilers. But the first thing is, maybe someone could argue that nobody's checking for manga characters like that, and that'll lead into the second point in a little bit, but let's just start off with that. I don't think that's true at all. I don't think, excuse me, that's my phone in the background, but I don't think anybody's not checking on manga characters. I think it's more of a thing of people maybe aren't just informed about it, but even with that, at one point, minor spoiler, Black Frieza was trending on Twitter, right? So that's not necessarily true. And I remember seeing on Reddit, like for example, when the Xeno Vegeta from Dragon Ball Heroes was up for pre-order, I remember seeing one thread like, are people actually interested in this? Xeno Vegeta? And it was like, why don't they do manga characters instead? Third party. Now, usually what I say with third party and doing official characters, I'm like, yo, leave official characters to Tamashii Nations, but this is a rare exception where I'm gonna just say maybe it's best that third party get a jump on it. And the reason why I say that is specifically because this is going to go into the second point. I think part of the reason why there hasn't been any, any type of movement in terms of characters with the manga is because there is no anime for it, right? And that's the big reason why I said Tamashii hasn't moved in on it, because there's no anime for it. But you know what there is an anime for? Dragon Ball Heroes. And what does, for example, Kong Studio keep on doing? They keep on producing either fan fiction characters or Heroes characters. Now, like I said, I would say usually leave the official characters and canon characters to Tamashii to make. However, it's probably going to be eons before we actually get Dragon Ball Super manga material in figure form. Now, from Tamashii at least. And that's because, well, I think at this point, the Dragon Ball Super anime is going to end up being in like a Bleach situation where it may be like 2028 before we get a Dragon Ball Super anime, and it's going to, it's going to be hype. It's going to have the good, clean animation. Everybody's going to be super hype about it and whatnot. Now, briefly doubling back to the other point where I was like, nobody's checking for manga characters, is that I know also the manga is sometimes not really that well received, to be honest. A lot of people have their gripes with the manga, whether it be, as people call them, Tracer Taro or Toyo Taro tracing some images, things of that nature. So in that regard, people not being big fans of it. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is I'm gonna have to discuss some manga characters, so hold on. So this next thing I have on my list of reasons why we haven't seen them yet is that nobody wants to make new molds, like brand new from the ground up molds. And on the screen here, sorry, spoilers, by the way, we have one of the main villains of a few Dragon Ball Super manga, Moro. And Moro has, of course, what many Dragon Ball villains, he has multiple transformations or forms, right? Of course, you got Old Man Moro, you have kind of middle-aged Moro, where he aged down a little bit. Not gonna say why he did. Then you got young Moro in the center picture. And then at a certain point towards the end of the arc, you get 7-3 Moro, and then 7-3 Moro with Ultra Instinct, right? Now, 2 of these are basically repaints, but the other 3 are actually using new sculpts. Now, new sculpts is kind of a flimsy excuse because recently we have Taunton Art Toys doing Kid Buu, right? Brand new sculpt from the ground up. So there's no reason why anybody would do that, right? There's no reason why that they shouldn't be able to do from a ground up sculpt, right? Now, with something like Kong Studio, which is who I believe is probably going to be the most likely to touch on manga stuff first, just simply because they always going outside of the box. Like, they're always making a whole bunch of different characters that we see, for example, in Heroes. They're just willing to go that extra mile, and they're very ambitious with the characters that they make, right? They're willing to do Super Saiyan 4 Broly, which is going to require them to do a new mold. Super Saiyan 5 Broly, new mold. So in that regard, I think it's very possible that Kong Studio / Beast Deity in the future will actually touch the manga characters first. However, we still might have to wait a couple years for that. Other people, other third parties, we'll see. Hopefully, in true demoniacal fashion, once we see Beast Deities announce their manga character, whoever it might be, whether it's Moro that we see on the screen or Granola, whom would also probably require some new sculpt work. Not even probably, he would. Whether it's Moro or Granola, right? Or whomever, like if it's Black Frieza, for example, it would require new sculpt work. And I'm sure, like, for example, with Black Frieza, one could be like, oh, well, they already have like a Frieza mold, and I'm sure nobody would want a Black Frieza on that old mold, right? I'm sure, like, for example, if Tamashii ever releases an updated 4th form Frieza, I'm sure that will be used as a template to do Black Frieza. Now, with something like Granola, well, once again, that'll be from a ground up sculpt. And then you have 2 options for his regular outfit with the green shirt. You'll have the long hair version, of course, and then you'll have his standard look, the shorter hair. And then, if you really want to go the extra mile, they can do the Granola without his jacket and with just the black compression shirt or what have you, and the suspenders. But I think there's also the possibility of the looming doom of Tamashii, like Tamashii, bringing down the hammer on him for doing manga characters, even though I think it would be like a good thing for Tamashii, just in a sense that people would stop bugging them, or some people would stop bugging them about, hey, when are you going to do these manga characters? Because in Tamashii's mind, it's like, yo, we got a plan. We're doing things by saga, and then also, besides doing things by saga, they also do things whether according to if they have an animation to go off of. So, for example, Dragon Ball Daima is going to come out in November, and we'll see, and I plan to do this as a separate video on its own, how Dragon Ball Daima actually affects the release schedule for, s.h.figuarts, right? Because prior to now, it'll just be like, oh, we're doing things by saga, Cell Saga. Frieza Saga, Android Saga, going into Cell Saga. And Dragon Ball Daima coming in kind of throws a monkey wrench in that, because now it's like, alright, how many Daima characters do we get? And how many of what we already been getting, which is Android stuff, do we get? Like, how's it going to be split between, right? It's very possible now that I think about it. And like I said, I'll talk more about this in the Dragon Ball Daima video in terms of figure arts that I'm going to do. It's very possible that a lot of Dragon Ball Daima stuff ends up being general release, and a lot of the Android stuff really starts to get pushed on Premium Bandai. I could see something like that happen, which would be unfortunate, but I don't know. Like I said, that's just me spitballing. I already told y'all who I thought the first would be to do it. I think these DDs will be the first to do it, and then maybe people will fall in, like, they'll follow up with Beast Deities, you know? But other than that, I think, like I said, the biggest reason, probably because it doesn't have a whole lot of hype behind it in terms of, like, alright, yeah, it might be trending on Twitter and what have you, but there's always, like, whenever there's a feature animation, a motion picture, I always think that that's going to take priority, whether it's Tamashii or third party, right? Now, the only monkey wrench to that is the Ultra Ego Vegeta, right? Because they didn't need no promotion for that. But also the thing about Ultra Ego Vegeta is they jumped right on it. The big thing with third party is that all these things came and went. Moro came and went. Granola came and went. And we didn't get any type of like releases for them. Now, to be fair, they would have had to make a sculpt from the ground up, and then by the time it dropped, would the hype for that character still be there? I think so, but I'm not sure third party thinks so. I think third party still playing it kind of safe in a sense by doing, like, for example, it's a lot of different variations of Goku and Vegeta that we got from third party. We only now getting Kid Buu, who's something that's a lot different, right? But third party doesn't have the structure that Tamashii does, so they don't, like, I say go for it. Go for broke. Do it. But with all this being said, I think that, what you call it, third party, whoever is the first to jump on it, this is what I'm trying to say. Whoever is the first to jump on that third party manga figure release and do it well, oh man, I think they're gonna make a killing. I personally, as much as I like Beast Deity, I kind of want to nominate Demon Alco Fit to do it. Now, of course, I would like Tonson to do it above all. However, Tonson also can't do everything. We have more than one third party. Like, there's so many of these companies that could get to doing it. Recustom would be a nice one because their sculpt work, from what I've seen so far, is immaculate. But yeah, that's all I got on this for now. Till next time, this has been Bombastic Plastic. Stay fantastic. Alright, so we're just gonna do a little bit of overtime. I can't lie. If I could get this Galactic Patrol Goku in this outfit, now I know I'm probably in a minority with this, and that Yardrat Vegeta, bruh, I would be over the moon. Yo, I would be so hyped. So hyped. But that's all on that. Peace.